Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani. 26th of October it is, and tomorrow it is Diwali. Happy Diwali in advance. For 3 days my lessons will be off and we'll meet again after 3 days. So this session today is extremely important. One very important article is there by Happy Mohan Jacob regarding the foreign policy issue. He sums up the whole scenario there. So we will discuss that. Other articles, other issues, other facts we discuss every day, and every day these MCQ lessons are also coming. So this is a phase of relaxation, and for at least 2 days you should relax, but only if you are struggling very hard, you are working very hard, and you are maintaining your consistency in your studies, only then you relax. If you have not maintained that, if you are not studying properly and you are just getting a lot of burden and you are under pressure, then relaxation will not be coming from staying away from studies. Study more in this phase. When others are enjoying and you will struggle, then you will come on the track and then you will win the game there. So this is just an opposite advice for those students. So this is an important phase. When these intermediary phases come, then it is the real test for the winners and the losers. So winners, they will keep struggling, and you focus more on your issues. Relaxation time is there to re-evaluate your own abilities. It is not just to stay away from everything that you are working on. So that's important. Let's start the lesson. 70% off is going on these courses till 30th of October. It will stay for 4 days are left, and paid videos by 3 important faculties available at 159 rupees per month only. Totally affordable one. Pocket News app is running on Google Play. You can download that regarding these courses. The description is given below the video. You can call on these 2 numbers if you face any issue, any payment issue. Then you can call on these 2 numbers. PDF you will get here on Telegram channel. I have uploaded those files there, and this link is given here on the Facebook group. Send me a request there. You can follow me on Instagram too. Some words that I found today, you can use that and enrich your vocab there. First issue, activists cry foul as government notifies RTI rules. RTI Amendment Act came and they changed this whole issue. They said that CEC, Chief Election Commissioner, is the constitutional body, constitutional post, and CIC is the statutory post. So CIC office was created after the RTI Act. So there cannot be this similarity of security of tenure. The CC is more important to the government, but in reality, if you see the condition of India, we see the issue of accountability, the corruption, then CIC is way more important than that, and it needs total autonomy and the security of tenure. But now that is being changed, and now officially rules and notifications are out there. The rules notified by Ministry of Personal and Public Grievances and Pensions, they have set the tenure of information commissioners at 3 years from existing 5 years, and government has this discretion now to decide on conditions of services for which no express provisions are made in the rules. Means this issue has been left vague, and what kind of conditions will be there, that will all be decided by central government, and they have been given a additional discretion there that the procedures which will be followed, they are not fixed here. And for individual information commissioners, there can be individual tenures and individual conditions. That is also a big problem there. So RTI activists, they are crying foul here, and they say that now the commission will function like a caged parrot because the total condition is changed there. Earlier they have had this security of tenure. Now they will be obliging to the government because they will have this fear, and we have seen more and more centralizing tendencies. We have seen pressures from the government on autonomous bodies. So this will be very huge impact. And already when Amit Shah ji said that we are making things transparent already, so there is no need to file the RTI there. So these kind of sentences, they raise a lot of suspicion, because this is not an ideal country. We all know what kind of people are sitting there in the power, and most of the times how sincere they are, how much ignorant they are, everyone knows about that. So that's why the accountability is the ultimate need in this country. Without that, there is no progress possible here. And here they are weakening extremely important body, the vital body to make this democracy working, that is being weakened here, and this is all intentional. So that's why that's a problem. And you see, the activists are saying that in 2014, where this pre-legislative consultation policy was going on, and the procedures were laid down there, there are clear violations, complete surreptitious manner in the flagrant violations we have seen there. So we are not sure how this commission will work in the future, and this can be a hugely problematic thing. Okay, because these officials, they will be under a lot of fear. So that's the issue. So serious concerns that the government could potentially invoke these powers to determine different tenures for different commissioners at the time of appointment, and this unchecked power with the government is not that much good. So that's the article important for GS paper 2. You can write a mains question on that issue. This is that much important. Next, we knew about the GST. It is for the indirect taxation. A hugely game-changing situation was there since 1st of July 2017. For the execution, the GST Network was there. GST Network was a non-profit organization, and it was developed by Infosys Technologies, and 10 crore authorized capital was there. 24.5% share was there with the central government. Similar share was there collectively with all the states. So 49% was with the state actually, and 51% was with the private entities or non-governmental financial institutions like SDFC Bank, ICICI Bank and all. Now central government is changing the issue there, and last year they made changes there. Now 50% will be there with the central government, and 50% will be there with the state governments collectively. So this is how it is totally becoming a public body, and they are withdrawing from there. So that's why ICICI Bank exists, GST Network there. So till March 2020, the whole withdrawal will be completed there. Okay, that's the issue. So very important one. And regarding the GST, we know the main governing body is the GST Council, which is headed by Union Finance Minister and all the finance ministers from the states there. So that's important. We are a $2.4 trillion economy, and we are hoping for a $5 trillion economy within 5 years. So that's a huge goal, and GST is the main tool there which can drive this growth. But the collections are not up to those expectations. We are expecting more than 1 lakh crore rupees per month, but that is not possible in most of the months. So that's the case. And regarding GST, additional informations are given here. So please go through that text. You will revise a lot of things. Next issue, Delhi University Teachers Association. You see, they are resorting to shut down over privatization agenda. Why privatization agenda? Because the government is not going to support them financially for many things there. The government would not fund the increase in expenditure, and hence the university would be forced to resort to exorbitant fee rises. So that's really unjustified in a country like India. If you say this thing in America, if you say this thing in Germany, Australia, then this thing will be totally justified. But in India, where the worst condition is there for the higher education, for the skilling sector, for the unemployment sector, then bringing these kind of changes are really devastating, because the corporate bodies, the India Inc. and other institutions, they are not a great support for the universities. And if we leave aside some of the top-notch institutions like IITs, IIMs, and some NITs, IISc Bangalore, others are nothing in comparison, and they are also appearing at 152nd number in the top universities ranking, 182, 185. These are the 3 ranks we have got in top 300. So this is really, really shameful, and this is something that is worst which is going on in this sector. But the government is not going to support there. We have thousands of crores of rupees for statues, for this and that, for other unimportant things, but we do not have fund for our higher education. We do not have fund for the permanent teachers recruitment. We do not have fund for these permanent faculties in the universities. We do not support the university's environment there. The free debates are restricted. Monoculture is being imposed. So these are the huge trouble which we are inflicting on our higher education sector, and the skilling and the employment sector is totally related with that. So this is actually damaging the whole trust factor among the masses, especially the demographic dividend issue. Means the youth, which we advertise them at every platform, internationally, nationally, and we talk about demographic dividend, but we are not supporting the basics there. So this can be turned into demographic disaster very, very soon, and possibly it will be the situation, because this way that we are moving, this is really not the great development, and the support is needed in the infrastructure, in the finances, in the recruitment process, and in the proper education there, which is certainly not there in almost all the universities, if we leave aside these some of the institutions. Recently the agenda was that executive council meeting was there regarding the issue of DU's Institute of Eminence status, and after this status the funding from private sector will be possible, and here some sponsors they will need to find, and they will put their pressures, they will give targets, and these students, the researchers, they will all work in some kind of pressure. Unnecessary support they will need to give to some of the corporate bodies, institutions, and some things can be political, and a lot of stresses and problems will be there, and the government's funding is the only solution there, but that is not being possible here. So that's why this is totally a not so good idea, and many groups they are protesting regarding that. Okay, so that's the issue, and many problems are there. So you can write a mains question on that issue also, that the privatization move which is also affecting the higher education sector, comment on that, how much great it is, and what is the need right now, what are the challenges, and what are the solutions there, and what should be the government's role there. Next, experts urge center to eliminate trans fats. You see, the Eat Right movement have been launched by the ministry there, and consumers organization now are calling to the government, and they are saying that advance that goal which you have set for 2022 to 2021 for removing the trans fat from the food items there. Over 77,000, and the numbers are way more than that. They are dying every year because of the indirect connection to the trans fat uses in the food items. So you can see the picture of French fries and this chicken. Trans fats are used heavily in these products. So McDonald's, KFC, all these companies which are selling their fast food products, they are using a lot of trans fat there, and they are devastating for your health. The bad cholesterol they have, and they will choke your arteries and all, and very dangerous chemicals are also used in some preservation and extending their shelf life there. So that's the issue. Saturated fats, the normal fat that we use on our breads and all, and in our sweets, and the Indian cuisine is a really fat dominated cuisine, and we use them a lot. So those are saturated fats, mainly the animal products like the milk which is there. So that is also not good, and we have to bring down this uses of the saturated fat also. So normal ghee is the prime example there. Unsaturated fats which are coming from the natural sources like vegetables, nuts, avocados, these are the best things to eat, and they are the good cholesterol. And additional definitions are also given here for mono unsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats, which are good cholesterol, and saturated fats and trans fats are the bad fats. So this information is very important, and the Eat Right movement is going on, and that's really an appreciable move by the government of India, and that use should be totally shunned for the trans fats there. Next, CSIR and its important institutions like the IGIB, Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology, and CCMB, they both are proposing an important initiative there, that is Indigen initiative. What is that? Means genetic problems are rising, and genetic solutions are the only solutions there. For that we need the mapping of genomes. More and more genomes are mapped, more and more solutions we can get there. So it can give solutions to the people's health, and it will give a lot of knowledge about the populations there. So they are proposing that free mapping will be there, and they are tying up with many important laboratories, pathological laboratories, and negotiating with many institutions there. So CSIR's role is very, very important. Every other day we hear about CSIR, the most important body, and scientific and industrial research is going on in many, many institutions under it. So that's important issue. Next, in Haryana, a dozen MLAs face criminal cases. Issues are political, but the consequence on the democracy is really, really huge. Out of 90, around 1 dozen MLAs, they face criminal cases, and severe criminal cases. You can see the picture of Mr. Gopal Kanda. He is charged with rape and incitement to suicide, and one whole family of Geetika Sharma was devastated. Her mother also committed suicide after Geetika, and the death note was written with the name of Mr. Gopal Kanda there. Now he wins the election. So the big question is that why these parties, they give tickets to these kind of leaders? They are powerful, they are rich, so they can influence voters there, and they win this election, and then they are coming to government positions there. Means the ministers they can become very easily. So they will enjoy more power, more money, and more influence there. So if the criminals, or you may say allegations are there, so these cases are going on, and in India typically these cases they go on for years and years, and many issues we find there, that how they try to influence these cases and how they do not get entangled into these things, and they do not serve. Only when the political vendettas are there, then only they are behind the bars. Otherwise they are all free for life. So why people support such leaders? And they know about their assets. They are most of them they are crorepati's, and many are the dire criminals. So why we support them? This is a big question on our mandate also, but the question remains with the parties, that why they give tickets, because they can influence poor people, poor weaker sections there, so they get votes. So it's a huge question. I have given you a mains question on the related issue, and you should write that on this context. Very important these things are. Your opinions, they matter a lot. So that's why. Brazil intends to allow Indians without visas. You see, Brazil has extended this facility to US, Canada, Japan, and Australia citizens. Now it will be available for Indian citizens too. They want more people to people connection. We are almost similar countries in terms of development stage, populations, and the urban development there. Many things are very similar. So this linkage is going to be very, very important. We both have our own cultures. We both have our own aspirations there. We are in this group of BRICS. So a great improvement can be there. So this is a great information by Brazil. Important for GS paper 2 mainly. Next. Now we will come to articles. First article regarding the merger of BSNL and MTNL. We discuss this issue in much detail. Similar things are written there, that government has taken this decision very, very late, and for the last 3-4 years all these private companies, they are giving these facilities like 4G and all, and the state entity, the BSNL and the MTNL, they are having consistent losses, instead of a situation where they have biggest number of infrastructures and lands. Their capacities are huge. They have more capacity in terms of spectrum allocations and all, and they are serving in very sensitive areas, and they are surely strategic assets, but these are weakened intentionally. Governments, they have supported these private players more, and even in that area the competition is not fair. Now only a few giants are getting a lot of profits. They have market presence there, and they have captured the market there. They have distorted the market there, and others are finding it very, very difficult even to survive there. So that's why this issue is very, very problematic for our economy. Now when they have been given a tag of strategic assets by the minister, they should have focused a lot and a lot more earlier there. MTNL is gonna work now as a subsidiary under BSNL, which is the biggest one. As BSNL is the biggest one, and it is really fulfilling the social objective there, because it is serving the unserved areas in the villages. It has presence, it has infrastructure there, so it has huge capacity. So if they support BSNL and MTNL like others, then surely they will bring great results. Maybe it will not support the parties in elections, and they can not bring out these nexuses there, and it will work more for the country, but surely for the economy it is the best, and they will give the best services there if they are supported there. So that's why we are hoping for that. But it is all coming after a lot of pressure, a lot of videos which were floated on the social media, which were really giving a fact regarding the situation. And now government gives all these sovereign guarantees, budgetary support, VRS plans they are bringing, but a lot of money will be diverted, which came as a tax receipt from the governments, from the people, and surely something will be given to the common people of this country as a share of this burden. So that's why it's important. Okay, so it's an important issue. We have well discussed it earlier. Now we'll move to the most important article today by Happy Mohan Jacob. He talks about the foreign policy changes. He says that we are going through fundamental transformations there. The traditional policy was very much cautious. We were maintaining an important standard there, and you may say that it was continuing since the time of Nehruvian era, and a kind of a balance we had there. We created a huge platform there with our good image there. Goodwill was certainly there. India's image was one of the best in international relations and the diplomacy there. We had some problems with Pakistan and China, but with others we were having great relations there, and still we have. But there are some fundamental changes which are going on. We have become very much bold here, risk taking and aggressive too. He says that a conscious and consistent effort to break with the past is happening, no matter how the outcomes might look eventually, but we are certainly going into that direction. So a major question is there: does this really mark a fundamental policy shift, or does it just amount to a slew of optics friendly acts that are well choreographed but not visionary? So this question is a mains question. Very rightly you can write about that, because many changes we have seen, like uninvited visits we have made in the past. The Pakistan's visit by Mr. Modi ji in the Nawaz Sharif's wedding ceremony there. So there, these all started, and these all things as a change were projected. Later, the huge mandate which was given by the people, that was the main reason that there is no challenge left to the decision making by the government internationally and domestically. How? Means I will explain it here like that they are taking a lot of risks. They have taken huge decisions, and one thing is appreciable, that whatever the rhetorics are, they are on the ground also. The surgical strikes, the Balakot strikes, and the Doklam issue, in all these issues we saw movement on the ground. These all did not remain till rhetorics, they were on the ground also. So that was really a positive thing. But in diplomacy, everything is not positive, everything is not very much clear. Things are very much balanced, things are very much unclear too, things are very much hidden too, and it's all a minute calculation there. So maybe things are not looking that much apparent in diplomacy, but here we are behaving more and more apparent here. And the strategic behavior that we are showing, that is aggressive too in a way. And today some country may say about India that we are more inclined towards American policies, and we work under some pressure by America, because in the Iran oil issue, in the ongoing Huawei companies issue, in some other issues, we were complying with the American decision making. So the closeness certainly increased, and the personal rapport of the leaders there, that is way more apparent and improved there, that's for sure. But how much advantage we will have in the future, because many things are undecided, we will have to see the consequences there, and the time will tell that what just happened. But certainly we are having a major shift there, and are these things really good, or they are lacking some vision there? We have to assess there. So that's why I say, because there is no challenge left in the domestic politics, opposition cannot assert many criticizing opinions, and they are not supported by the public is totally in the support of government of India, and that they should be, but some evaluation and criticism is always great in the decision making there, because they balance these things. But here, what is the situation? We see that high-pitched rhetorics we have seen, and a lot. We have become a mouthpiece of the terrorism issue on all the platforms, and most of the times we start our things with that, we end our things with that. Other issues are also important. So a high-pitched rhetoric around Pakistan, J&K and terrorism, and that complements the Modi regime's propensity for high risk-taking ability. So these are the mainstays of our foreign policy now. Means for last 2-3 years, this is all about it. Unfailing invocations to these themes in almost all the forums where India is represented, and in the bilateral meetings too. We are very vocal about those things, and we are aggressive too. The way we have supported Israel's moves, the way we extended support to the Netanyahu there, and we have extended our support to Mr. Trump also with the Howdy Modi event, that never really happened in India. Israel-Palestine issue we have balanced always, but now apparently we are more towards Israel, and that's for sure. So that's why these kind of things are unprecedented. How great these things are, time will tell. But do they lack a visionary thinking? There are suspicions. Means there can be a lack of vision there. So in an overstated manner, terrorism, Pakistan, they have come to dominate our foreign policy pursuits instead of other forward-looking and system-shaping narratives. Means there should have been many other narratives too, and our stand could have been more neutral, but that is really not there. So this line sums up all. Fixation with terror, Pakistan and J&K also means that the country's valuable political diplomatic capital, as well as its accumulated goodwill in the Committee of Nations, would have to be spent on tactical goals. A lot of capital we are investing there, and we are also having some consequences there. Like in the American policy, if we see, we are not supported by whole America. We are supported by Republicans there. Democrats are raising their eyebrows a lot, and that was not happening earlier. Democrats are very much concerned about Indian government's moves. Suppose in the future, if the Democrats, they come to rule America, certainly it will be very problematic for Indian government there, and for India as a whole. A huge diaspora is living there, and the kind of support we have shown, that is more a blind support. That is not a calculated support there. And the way these decision makings are advertised means they are not popular. They are advertised in a way by the media of India that there is no challenge left to the decision making, and that's not a good condition. So some things are good, that we have become very bold and we are taking risks there, and we are doing something on the ground. We have taken good decisions there, but some things are really concerning. So that's why, is there an issue that we have more clarity, which is may not be appropriate, that much clarity may not be appropriate in the diplomacy, but we have this clarity, and we are cashing on this clarity, we are advertising this clarity a lot. But is it the cost of nuance that we are paying there? Because complex issues are there. If we see the issue of India-US relations, then these are subtle issues, many minute calculations we have to do every time, but things are very much apparent now, and we are moving very fast in these directions. So maybe we are missing these calculations there, and at the cost of these nuances in the complexities, we are bringing more and more apparentness and the clarity, and maybe that thing we will have to manage in the future. So you can see rhetoric reality match is found in the India-US relationship, but in a normal things, domestically these things are really great, but internationally it is not necessary that always this clarity is needed. So that's the issue. So he says that two are unprecedentedly close, India and America, and despite its nativist leaning, the present regime seems to offer no excuses or qualifiers for getting so close to a superpower, for it knows that hardly any challenges are posed to its foreign policy pursuit in the domestic sphere. So the domestic sphere is the main driver there. Domestic politics is the main reason there. And they are also stuck in some commitment traps too. Means they commit a lot to the Indian public and then they take some decisions and which may not turn out to be very great in the future. So that's why we are taking a lot of credit of the time there. Time will tell about a lot of things. In the case of Taliban, we are not involved. Internationally, this was totally needed. Many experts were saying that somehow we have to engage there. But we have a particular stand there regarding the terror groups and all. So we have only that angle advertised in our nation. So that is why we could not engage with Taliban in any manner. Even the general there, Mr. Rawat, he said that we should engage there, and that was the need of the hour. But we could not because we are stuck in these commitment traps there to the public. So the domestic politics is a very big influencer there today in the foreign policy, and that's really not great. We have been isolated in those terms on the international level. We were maintaining an important standard there, and that's why we were keeping things in a lot of caution there. But now that caution is diminishing in a way. So that's why in the past we often struggle to match our rhetorics with our actions, but that's not happening now. So maybe that's good, maybe that's really great, but the time will also tell about the consequences there. And for sure we are moving away from the Nehruvian normative, and there was a deliberate ambiguity. Ambiguity means some confusion, or you may say some things are undecided, but that was deliberate in the past because some things we wanted to keep isolated there, and many options we need to explore there in the future. So that's why deliberate ambiguity was there, but that is something we are losing there, and we are totally going against the Nehruvian normative there. So 5 important questions are arising from this situation, and these are the questions to the government also, these are the questions to you also for the mains examination. So you talk about that, and your opinions are important. A winner takes all mentality is certainly going on with the present Modi government, because they are the winners. They have this great huge mandate there. So no opposition, no balancer is left there, and nobody can challenge their decision making. So that's why this may not be that much good in the international relations and the diplomacy there. So that's why how much domestic opinion is affecting there, you need to write about that, and is it good or not, and what can be the possible consequences there. You can write a mains question there. So we will meet again after 3 days there, and I'm going on leave for 3 days. So thanks a lot, and a happy Diwali for all of you. Relax and enjoy, and then come back again with a lot of energy. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was amazing.